Welcome and welcome back. We have another exciting night of fights ahead of us. Fluffy Hernandez is going against the always mewing Dolidze, and it's been a little crazy, a couple switcheroos. Let's get to know everybody, give it a little dynamic breakdown, see what everybody's been up to. We got to start with our agenda. We've got 11 bouts, and it's Middleweight Madness Part 2. Okay, it starts now. Now. We got a lot of middleweight craziness ahead of us, all leading up to one wild night in Chicago, right? Okay, this is the beginning. Hernandez versus Dolidze. We're starting the Part 2 of Middleweight Madness. We started it really earlier this year, but it's picking back up again. Okay, a lot of great middleweight fights coming up. And we got some weird situations, all right? At a co-main event, Osborne versus Ursig. That's not what we started at. This fight has been switched 3 times, and they snatched it from the card the other day, and I was like, excuse me, is it canceled? It reappeared, but at bantamweight. What have you? Is this a new bantamweight leaf? No, it's not. We definitely aren't staying here, okay? That's the truth. We've heard it from Steve Ursig. I don't think Ode Osborne plans to stay here. He's just stepping in, okay? Thanks, girl. We love that for you. And this fight, yeah, it was rebooked 3 times, and we're in the Apex. That's the story, all right? Well, we got some little stories coming up. We'll figure it out along the way. First fight that we got, I think, was the fight that was most recently added to the card, if you exclude the bantamweight switcheroo with the co-main event, Cody Brundage versus Eric McConnico. This is some middleweight madness, right? We love Cody Brundage in this house, okay? You gotta know that. You have to know that we are the Brundage band over here. We stand with Cody Brundage, our Southern Belle, right? LFA, Dana White's Contender Series, 5-5 in a draw. Yeah, you gotta have that. He's a Wrestling Foundation type. I mean, 96 wins in college? Yeah, so you know the arsenal with that wrestling is thicky thick, and the ground control is definitely there in the fights, right? He is striking when he's got you on the ground, and he is controlling you. Nasty business. Lights out champion, been both a champ at middleweight and light heavyweight, so he's prolific, okay? He's prolific, and coming off of an overturned draw, weird, okay, weird, but it's all good. The thing to know about Cody is that he can come back from the dead, all right? He can sustain damage, look dead, and then reappear and come alive yet again. We love to see that. We love to see his heart, his soul, always puts it out there. Yes, he's a really down-to-earth guy, okay? And he's embracing that chaos in the cage. His fights are drama, okay? The fights are drama in that sense, that it could look like it's over and it's completely not. So this one is going to be a very exciting start just for that. He comes from athletic greatness. Like, everybody in his family is an athlete, including his wife. Okay, so it's his parents, his sister, like professional athletes. Girl, yes, okay, greatness. We love Cody. He's a great vibe. He's been through some stuff too, okay? And he is coming out with the sunshine radiating from him still. And he'll be going against Eric McConnico from Tough Enough. We love that, right? He's looking for that first UFC win, coming off of a TKO loss to Ruzi Boa. But you know what? We're moving on, okay? He's sub-averse, all right? And they lost and only 33% of his wins. So not really wanting to live in the world of sub. And all of his losses have occurred in the TKO category. So that's something to look for, okay? Definitely. And his motto is the world doesn't care about your excuses. It only respects results. We love that. I think that's pretty important heading in. And I think that's exactly what he's going to be thinking about with trying to secure that first win, right? We got to get it. We got to get it done. We got to get that win. So this is going to be a fun way to start. I suspect that we're going to start with drama. This fight is going to have a lot of oh my gosh moments. It's going to be drama. Then we have a women's flyweight between Gabriela Fernandez and Julia Stolarenko. Gabby, happy early birthday. It's just around the corner. I have a friend with the same birthday. So happy birthday, early birthday to them both, right? Yes. Gabby is an LFA champ. Had a great moment there, okay? And then made her way to the UFC just a couple years ago. She's on a 2-fight win streak against some pretty baddie bads. We know Kong Wang is tough and quirky in there, great boxing, and same thing with Carly Judas, and she was able to stand with that. So love to see that. It's looking pretty good. It's looking very solid. We're on a great trajectory. Never been finished as well, has dealt with their power. You know, Carly Judas, okay? She's a finisher, right? And got that split decision win. That was a fight of the night. That was a great performance, great tape to watch back for Gabriella. And Gabby is so interesting because she also surfs competitively. So previous photo is of her just having fun out there, but she's a very, very good surfer, not just casual, okay? And she has a taekwondo background, so we're looking for those high kicks, right? The flexibility is there, and it's coming income power, kicky. She is an exciting fighter. And she's going against our first ever Lithuanian woman to be in the UFC. Okay, Dolidze. Love that. She's an Invicta champ and also a Celtic Gladiator champ. She's been in the UFC for a little bit since 2018 after a tough moment, right? And it's been a little tough. Okay, speaking of tough, it's been a little tough. Okay, it's been a little 2-6. So we're looking to correct that a little bit. She is a BJJ black belt and a champion in competition there. That's like her home. It's her home. It appears that she spends most of her, training outside of like directly preparing for the fight, like just having fun martial arts style in BJJ. She's wearing that gi all the time. That is all over her Instagram. And she's a really interesting fighter because she's looking to get you in round 1. Okay, very frightening. Very frightening. She finds those openings very, very quickly. And those 10 subs are all in round 1. Girl, okay. You know what's even crazier is it's always an armbar. Okay, so at least in the sense you know what to prepare for, but that's frightening. That is a frightening threat. Currently coming off a TKO loss, and it's been a little bit, okay? It's been a year and a half, been out on surgery, so we're hoping that she's fully 100% recovered. And funny thing, she's also a dental hygienist. Not anymore, but like previously. That's not an easy job, let me tell you. So our fighters, they always bring interesting talents and skills, don't they? And then we have a welterweight fight between Uros Medic and Gilbert Urbina. Uros the Doctor, interesting nickname there, coming from Dana White's Contenders series. He's a kickboxing guy. Yeah, you're definitely going to see that. You're going to see the kickboxing, prioritizing, and a very high striking accuracy. He's definitely a finisher. Okay, 80% of those wins coming out in knockout. And the interesting thing, though, is that all in all, wins and losses included, that life is just not usually lived in the third round for this guy. He's never been to a decision, okay, and neither way. So I kind of like to see that chaos. It's a little chaotic, but we can handle that. He's looking to explode with that elbow. Watch out for that. If he's in close with you, it's going to be exploding with that elbow. Okay, vicious. That was aggressive on my end, too. Wow. Yeah, he's a little vulnerable on the ground. Okay, hate to say it, and hate to see it. But it's a little bit true. Okay, check the Orobai fight, right? McTickback Orobai, he's very, very sticky, though, so it's not like he got scrubbed by a scrub, but he was scrubbed. He was getting scrubbed by Orobai. I mean, he looked tired down there, so just something to look out for. He's like a massive adventurer, too, okay? This is the thing about Uros is he loves fishing, mountain biking, and basically every winter sport that you could ever imagine. So very out there, active. That's pretty cool stuff. He's going against Gilbert Urbina, okay, the RGV bad boy. Let me know about that. Tough, okay. And he's coming off of his loss to Charles Radke. Okay, a bit of a TKO loss, that was a bit of a toughie. It was a bit of a toughie. And so now he's got one loss in each category. That's interesting, right? That's a little fun, I guess. And the thing about Gilbert, he can really cause damage everywhere. That's why his fighting style is so exciting, is because on the feet, he's going to be putting things together. He's going to be trying to work it out in the clinch. And on the ground, he's very aggressive as well. Very aggressive. He's very hunty, right? Kind of the Cub Swanson vibe in that sense. Like always looks like he's locked in hunting you. He's very switchy. He's very hunty, switchy, lateral movement-y. And he's 100% a takedown threat. He does get a takedown, at least one, and all of his fights, it seems pretty good at getting that takedown and then causing some damage there, and then more importantly perhaps, lots of control. And that mullet that you see there, that's a trademark. That is a trademark look for Gilbert. It's that mullet every time, and I really like it because it's got he's got the tapered fade. It's interesting. It's an interesting mullet, and it's his trademark. This should be a pretty interesting fight. I'm curious to see if Gilbert is just going to go to the ground early, if he's going to try to feel it out, because he does do a bit of feeling it out as well, more of a defensive fighter. He likes to respond to what his opponent is putting out there. So, but this one should be crazy, given Euros's, big power, and then having never been to a decision. And then we have a women's bantamweight banger lock in for Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Jocelyn is our lone Panamanian fighter in the UFC. That is really, really cool. She is a King of the Cage champ. Okay, came to the UFC in 2021. Currently coming off of a TKO win to Chelsea Chandler. That was looking good, okay? And the thing about Jocelyn is she splits her strikes nearly perfectly evenly. She is such a diverse striker. We love it. We love it. She's only been finished once via sub, and then 83% of her losses are decisions, so can get a little fatigued, but the durability is strong. And her wins are split very, very evenly, so coming in there with a complete arsenal, positivity, optimism, violence. And she is going against Priscilla Cachoeira, who is Zombie Girl. Okay, that is her name for a reason, because Priscilla is willing to die on that sword. Okay, she is going to die on that sword if need be. She is so tough. She is so game. She cannot be discouraged. Okay, coming off of a performance of the night, TKO win. That was crazy. That was a really great fight, right? Back in March. She is stepping in on short notice. So this fight wasn't supposed to be this fight, but she says, hey, I'm coming in. Heavy hands and violence. Never been finished. The durability is there. Naya sub win though, and so you can see some vulnerability as well, okay? 67% of her losses. So she is looking to stand and bang. We love it. We love Zombie Girl. She found MMA as a way to stay straight, okay? Her mom is her hero, helped guide her, and here she is. Much more than just staying straight. She is on the money with those powerful, powerful hands. Okay, we are excited to see that chaos. I'm really excited for this fight because I feel like there's going to be so much aggression. This is going to be click, clackety, clue. Priscilla, I think, is just going to do everything she can to keep it on the feet, and I feel like Jocelyn's going to go for that. She is going to go for that because she likes to strike. She is a fabulous striker. This one should be violence. Then we have a bantamweight fight with Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. Elijah Smith, he is a youngster coming off of a decision win over Vince Morales, which Vince is a toughie. Okay, Vince is a toughie, and he looked really good in there. He looked really athletic. That was awesome. That was his debut. He's on a 6-fight win streak, just been killing it. Elijah is so fascinating. He's got those lunging takedowns. He's bendy. Okay, he is bendy. I swear he's like doing the splits, or like a leap. He's like fouette leap, and then he does the takedown. It's beautiful, honestly. It's like ballet. He is so bendy. He's very switchy. So he's able to get that takedown at all these weird, interesting, terrifying angles, and he's looking to keep it switchy in the striking as well. I really like the way he puts together his combos. Like, he's not really like a one and done puncher. It's gonna hit those combos. He used to work at a car dealership. That's a tough one. Think about Elijah. All right, he has got so many interesting things that he's putting out there. Lungy, bendy, switchy. And he's going against subster Toshiomi Kazama, the silent finisher, right? From the subs. Because you don't hear a knock when it's silent, because you just go to sleep. His judo is where his background comes from. And then Pancras, 6-1, did really, really well there. He is just all over you looking for that sub. 55% of his wins and Naya loss, and looking to get a lot of control time in there as well. This is a super fun one that I expect to have a lot of very strange athletic moments. I think Elijah is going to welcome any sort of world on the ground. He's ready to go there. I expect this one will be rolling all over the mat. You never know. And then we have a light heavyweight fight between Juice Box versus Rafael Carera. Julius Walker is new to the UFC. He made his debut against Alonzo Menifield just a couple days notice. I think it was like 4 days notice. They were like, hey, are you ready? And he was like, I'll never not be. I will never not be. Let me in. And, it didn't go his way, but not by that much. That was a splitty. That was a splitty. Maybe got a little gassy, okay? And his name, Juicebox, it has a lot of meanings, okay? Don't open that Pandora's box because there is a lot of meanings there. He's a Midwest man, okay? Synergy FC champ. He's been all over the regional scene. And he's going to prefer the knockout. 60% of his wins, all of his wins, though, are in some form of finish. So, first time ever being in a decision, didn't go his way, but it was a splitty. So, he definitely has the decision win capabilities in him. We know it. We're really excited about his future. Looking to get that first UFC win. And interestingly enough, going against someone else who's looking for his first UFC win, Rafael Carera. Okay, the Lion's coming in to bite that juice box. Okay. He's a Demo fight champ, made his way to the UFC just recently and has had a 2-fight stint. So it's looking pretty major. It's looking really important. Just like his opponent, knockouts are preferred. 73% of his win. Both of his losses were TKO. Okay, most recently, Modestas Bukauskas, which he's a baddie. And John Jones is his inspiration, so he's looking to do some weird things in there. When he's not fighting, he's doing soccer and playing video games. I don't know why I said doing soccer. You play soccer. Anyway, this fight should have very interesting energy because, Rafael really needs to get that win. If he gets this loss, it might be over for him. So expecting to come in with a lot of hungry energy, but he should be on the defensive side too, right? Because both these guys are finishers. Juicebox, finding his way. I don't think if it doesn't go Juicebox's way that he's in risks of getting cut. So I think we got to pull a little bit for Rafael, even though we're really excited about Juicebox's future. This is tough. Okay, this is a tough one, but it's going to have some violent energy. Very likely to end in a knockout by the numbers. Should be exciting nonetheless. Then we got some more middleweights to throw into the madness. Eric Anders going against Christian Leroy Duncan. Eric, ya boy, Anders, it's an interesting one. He is a former Golden Gloves champ, so we got a boxer on our hands, right? And speaking of champ, LFA, okay? He's been in the UFC for a little bit now, 2017. He's had pretty solid, faced a lot of really good competition. Also was a pro footballer, so that's cool. He owns his own fitness academy. What the heck is with this? He's an entrepreneur. We love that. Coming on a 2-fight win streak. Most recently, Chris Weidman. Man, was that ancient history? Anyway, okay. Knockouts are preferred. He's got 10 wins in that fashion. That's a lot. 59%, but 10, that's a lot. So he's very, very durable. 75% of his losses are via decision. Can we outstrike this guy? That's the way you're going to do it. He's going against Christian Leroy Duncan. All right, never been finished. Cage Warriors champ. He's been in the UFC since 2023. I mean, he was Cage Warriors king. He was the king of Cage Warriors. All right, he's got a chin. Thing about CLD is he's got a chin. He's coming off a decision win to Andre Puliev, right, who just had a vicious knockout. Okay, yeah, so proof to CLD's chin. He's really got it. Super high striking accuracy. The leg kicks are coming. They're incoming. Watch out because they're going to be there. He's always learning, all right? That's his motto. Baller, and by that I mean basketball, okay? And he's the youngest sibling, so he kind of carries that youngest sibling complex. This is going to be a flashy, super fun striking match. Very leggy. Christian Leroy Duncan is such a treat. Okay, he's such a treat. And Eric Anders is very, very powerful. This is some exciting middleweight madness, right? We're on our middleweight journey. Then we have a bantamweight fight between Miles Johns and Jean Matsumoto. Miles Johns, okay, he had quite the LFA run, made his way to the UFC, and has been doing pretty good. Okay, he's on the decision grind, 60% of his wins. Sometimes we can wane in the energy, but the pressure that Miles puts on is super heavy. Coming off of a decision win over Felipe Lima. He's hunting for your head pretty much every time that we're on the feet, right? But it's very strong with that right, okay? But he's also looking to slow you down and pin you against the fence. So much of those decision wins, I think, come from, we got a lot of strength. Miles has got a lot of strength. He's going to use that frame to pin you and control you when need be. Okay, if he's feeling a little tired, he's going to have a bit of a fence moment. So he's smart. He's going against youngster Jean Matsumoto, LFA. Okay, again, he's got a great, very solid MMA arsenal of a Muay Thai and BJJ black belt. So, he's representing the new generation of, there's going to be less and less people who are finding MMA, but as a way to stay straight and have been dreaming of being UFC fighters in particular, right? So he's so young, but he's got this pretty big arsenal. He came in short notice, I believe, to fight Rob Font, and that was a pretty good war. So he did lose his undefeated record, but again, a split loss, and it's Rob Font. That's tough. So he picked that fight up short notice. He says he's willing to fight whoever. His dad is his striking coach, so that's cute. Okay, he's never been finished, so showing some definite durability there. Ready for the decision grind. 44% of his wins coming that way, so he can get it. He's going to be chopping at the legs. Okay? He'll be chopping at those legs, and he'll be looking you in the eye with those beautiful eyes of his. I mean, what a pair of peepers. This should be a pretty fun fight. I'm just excited to see more from Sean because he's got a long way. He's only 25. He's got a very, very fun, complete arsenal. And Miles Johns is tough, so this will be a pretty good test as dealing with a lot of big strength coming from him. And then we have the fight that I am most looking forward to, I think. Okay, maybe top 3. Andre Feeley versus Christian Rodriguez at featherweight, of course. Touchy-feely. Ugh, big fan. I'm gonna say it until I can't say it. We gotta change that name, okay? It's not for me. Let's change it. We love Andre. He is a legend. Okay, he's been here since 2013. It's kind of hard to believe it. He's a legend. Right now, he's coming off of a sub-loss to Melquizael Costa, and so is his opponent. This is so crazy in that way, right? He's a born fighter, willing to die in there. You can totally see it. He gets his wins pretty much outside of the subcategory, but that doesn't mean you won't see takedowns. Takedowns are there to slow you down. Kind of like Miles Johns' game plan. And 2 of his wins are split decision, and if you dig into it, those were war, okay? Watch the Cub Swanson fight. That's history. Andre Feeley has been in Team Alpha Male since he was 19. Since he was 19 years old. That's crazy. He's probably one of the, I guess, he's the face. One of the faces of Team Alpha Male. We love it. So watch that Cub Swanson fight. It's incredible. That is incredible. Just a proof of the war. And you can see a pretty full Andre Feeley game plan in that fight. You can see it all. You can see how he uses the takedowns to slow you down. You can see how he uses some really interesting movement in addition to being switching on the feet. Just really weird movement. He's very, very hard to pin down. Yeah, you see it all in that fight. He's very grounded in reality, perceptive about his past, seemingly. Okay? And his motto is if you can't beat his ass, he doesn't care. Okay? He does not care. He doesn't want to hear your talk about what he does in the octagon. And fair. Honestly, fair. I wish more fighters would take that message. Okay? Don't listen to the haters who live in their basement, right? Also, congrats to him and his beautiful wife on their new baby. Yay! That is so cute. He's going against Christian Rodriguez. C-Rod. Okay. That is, I think a nod to Dennis Rodman. I mean, his name is Rodriguez, but I think he really likes Dennis Rodman. Okay? He does. Loves him. He also recently fought Melquizael Costa. What is this? Right? We're both coming off of a loss to the old Coster, and if you know anything about dynamic instability, is we stand with Melquizael Costa. We stand with all 3 of these gentlemen. These are some of our faves right here. Yes. He's Bellator star, LFA, Dana White's Contender Series, and now Christian is here. He's a Midwest man. Shout out Milwaukee. Right? We love our Midwest boys. He's a striker. We love Christian because he's going to flow off that jab. He's gonna put the jab in your face and use it as a route to the cross. I just love it. I love that. He's like, excuse me, hand in your face, okay? Oh, there's the next punch. Super straight punches. He's flowing in there. He looks so good. He's got a striking background and it looks like it. He's very artsy too. He's really fun with his Instagram posts. You gotta check him out, follow him, okay? He started MMA to fight bullies. Right, right. So I love that. I feel like when it goes from hey, I just want to defend myself to now I'm a professional athlete, that says something deep. This is gonna be great. He's a big fan of Andre Feeley. So this is definitely one of my most anticipated fights. I think that Andre Feeley, he's one of my favorite fighters, 100%. He actually was going to be on my inspo wall and we got to update it, but that was when the printer ran out of ink, okay? It's when we were starting to get touchy-feely. Things ran out of ink. But we love Andre. He just brings such an interesting game plan. He seriously does. He shows everything. The lateral movement is very scary, very effective. But C-Rod is got a lot of interesting things up his sleeve, and the pace of this fight is going to be very, very fun. I think we're going to see a war. So keep your eyes on this one. And then we have Eisman Lucindo versus Angela Hill. This is a top 10 strawweight fight. This is going to be awesome. Eisman Lucindo, she is such a cutie. Oh my gosh. Love her. AFC champ. She's been in the UFC since 2022, doing very well, coming off of a decision loss to Amanda Lemos. Hey, but she survived the power, right? Amanda Lemos is a tough cookie. And there were some scary moments on the ground there. And we really got to see Eisman's ability to neutralize you and defend herself on the ground against a scary, very heavy-handed Amanda Lemos, okay? Front neck tattoo, kind of an indication of pain as a hobby. Be yourself. Tat it up. I F with that. I think that is awesome. I think that is cool and cute. And she's never been knocked out. Okay, so toughy. 40% of her wins are knockouts, so they're, I would say, slightly preferred. Okay? And she's attacking the body. The body strikes are heavy and they're there. She is going to get in there, especially when we're in close range. Punchy. Very defensive, as I said, on the ground. We got to see a lot of that. Okay? Surviving to the decision where there were some very dangerous moments. She breathes, handles, very composed. Definitely finding her way in the top 10. So made it to number 8. This is a really, really big matchup for the always smiling Eisman Lucindo. Because she is going against Angela Overkill Hill. Okay, Angela is on the inspo wall, right? She's got to be. Angela Hill is so important. She is so important in UFC history and all of the history of MMA. Absolute legend. If there's one way to describe Angela Hill, it would be many firsts and many mosts. So she is the first black woman to ever headline a UFC card. Let's go, okay? She has the most bouts in women's strawweight history. Okay, let's go. Okay, she has the second most bouts in just UFC women's history. What is this? She's got the most wins in UFC strawweight, okay? She's got the most total fight time in the women's strawweight division. And I believe that fight time is almost 6 hours. So that is some of the most out of anybody in the UFC. Anybody, okay? She has the most strikes landed both in strawweight and in women's UFC. It is over 2,000. And she actually has the third most out of anybody in the UFC. Okay? And we could just go on and on and on. Second place in the UFC for most decision bouts. She is tied and first in so many ways. She has lasted in the sport and done well for such a long time. She is seriously an inspiration and just a really interesting human being. She was on Invicta before she made it here. She was the champ, and that was after being released to the UFC, so she had to re-find her way. This is crazy. Back again, 13 and 14, and basically every fight that she's in is a real showstopper. She's in the land of decision because Angela Hill is output, right? How do you get the most strikes in women's UFC history if it's not all about output? So 67% of her wins and 86% of her losses because she's making it, okay? She's got some pretty crazy durability throughout her entire career. She's never been knocked out, okay? Only finished via submission. She's got 4 fight of the night performances. I mean, come on. She might be a striker, but she got her first submission win last year. Okay, girl, right? This is awesome. I love that because you can always evolve. Okay, you can always evolve. She's a gamer. She's got a bachelor's in fine arts, so she's into a lot of creative things, also does cosplay and stuff. And you should definitely check out her podcast, Two Straws, right? With Jessica Penne. They do all sorts of really, really cool stuff, breaking down the fights, fight reviews, and they are so fun. They are really fun. duo. So definitely check out Two Straws podcast. Yes, Angela Hill, come on, right? Crazy stuff. So this is a massive test for Iceman. I think it's going to be a really fun one. Okay, it always is when we got Angela Hill in the building. We don't know how many more times we're going to get Overkill Hill, but she's been looking really great. That leads us to our co-main event, which might be cursed, okay? You see Steve Erceg versus Ode Osborne, and neither of them have a ranking next to their name. Well, it's because we're fighting at bantamweight for this one. Stevie boy, Astro boy, he's got to get the win, okay? He's got to get the win because it's been looking a little dicey, per se, but not really, right? When we actually think about it. So he's on a 3-fight losing streak, but it's to the greats. It's to Brandon Moreno, most recently, Kai Kara-France, and fighting for the belt against Pantoja. Okay, so it's not like Steve is out here being a bum. Okay, no one in the UFC is a bum, first and foremost, but Steve is on a 3-fight losing streak to greats. They have thrown him to the wolves. They were like, Steve, we want somebody to shake up this division. We're going to rush you to the top. We're going to rush you there. And he's got what it takes. He's a young man. He's got to tighten the screws. But what the heck? We're not giving him any easy moments here because this has been one big switcheroo. He was supposed to fight Hyung-Sung Park, okay? And they snatched Hyung-Sung and they said, you're going to go fight Tyra, okay? And so that happened. And then he had another opponent and they said, eh. And then they were like, Osborne. But then that was halfway pulled. It disappeared, right, from the card when, yeah, on the UFC's website, it just disappeared. And then coming from Steve, it's because there was some uncertainty about where it's going to be. And so now we know, okay, just a couple days in advance, that this is not going to be a flyweight fight. But that's the thing, is that Steve doesn't want to stay there in bantamweight. He says that's a scary division. He's going to go back. So this is weird, okay? But nonetheless, pretty necessary to get the win here. But he says he's unfazed by the switcheroo. He's been focusing a lot on his conditioning, because that's been, I'd say, one of the, some of the issues, okay, against the greats, has been maintaining that conditioning and finding the chaos. So you gotta have a little bit of chaos. Steve definitely thrives in a little bit of chaos, so he's gonna try to embrace that. Steve is also very sticky. That's one of his defining qualities, is he is very threatening on the ground, 50% of his wins, and, nay a loss. So this is a really big moment for Steve. He's going against Ode Osborne, the Jamaican sensation, also making his bantamweight debut, although it's really, okay, again, just a short notice thing. Okay, Dana White's Contender Series. He's had a bit of an up and down, but exciting road in the UFC. Last minute fill-in, okay? Headhunter, very good on his back, so that'll be really fun with the Steve Erceg Submitterton situation. And he's got some fast, crazy, swinging punches to me. It gets a little wild in there. He's coming off of a TKO win, and that was just a couple months ago. And that broke his 3-fight losing streak. That's exactly what Steve's looking to do. So Ode canceled his 3-fight losing streak. He's a super silly, funny guy, makes a lot of cute skits. He loves to dance, chefing it up in his free time. And his musical background, okay, it may be because his grandfather, Sugar Belly, actually invented the bamboo saxophone. Okay? If you don't know what that is, I need you to look that up. Sugar Belly, bamboo saxophone. There he is in the corner there. That's, hello, history. Okay. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of interesting stuff on there as well. This is a crazy, crazy co-main event. Okay, I'm sorry, Steve. It's been a little up, down, around, and 360 for you. We got to pull for him. Okay, we got to pull for Steve. We got to break this 3-fight losing streak. But again, 3-fight losing streak to the greats. So I'm expecting Steve to come out here with a new sense of self, perhaps. All right, with some added chaos, right? Because we've seen a little bit of a less chaotic Steve. We need maybe just slightly more chaotic Steve. And then a conditioned Steve. He's been working on the conditioning. All right. This is going to be a good one. We're going from 5 rounds back to 3. So maybe a little more opportunity to be explosive. And Ode Osborne, he's a very explosive match. So this will be a great co-main event, despite the weirdness around it being bantamweight. Hello? What is going on? What is going on? Just know that this is not a bantamweight debut. Just know that Steve does not plan to stay here. So we're just looking to make a statement. Okay, we're looking to remind the people. Steve is looking to tell them, I deserve a place at the top. I will be back to challenging for the belt That's our co-main. That means we made it to our main event. This one's a wild one. This is middleweight madness, at least the beginning. We got 3 middleweight bouts on this card though. So yeah, we got middleweight madness all leading up to Roman Dolidze, number 9 against Anthony Hernandez, number 10. Roman, you know the Caucasian. Yes, I know he's from the Caucasus, but still, that name is weird to me. It's fine. It's not like it's touchy-feely. All right. He started MMA when he was 28 years old. I'm not sure everybody knows that, but that's kind of crazy. So, I mean, 28 is still young, but a lot of people, right, they're rolling on the mats when they're 5. Not to say that he wasn't a athlete before then, because he was. So he had a bit of a leg up in that sense, but he didn't start MMA until later. He is a WWFC champ, had a great run in there, and has had a great run in the UFC since he's got his little booty over here, right? 9-3, 8 of his wins by KO, 8 in round 1. It's because he's big, okay? Roman Dolidze is hardly a middleweight. He could be a lightweight. He is, and he is. He's both, okay? He's both. Currently coming off of a decision win over Marvin Vettori. That was a little bit crazy. That was a little bit like this, okay? But hey, he did it. Marvin, he's a tough cookie though. Didn't get knocked out, but he did it. And this is his second main event in a row. So Roman is right. We are looking to show some stuff, okay? And he looks huge. Huge and starved at middleweight. Like we said, he isn't a middleweight, really. He's a headhunter, hence the chaos. He brings a lot of chaos. That's his reputation, of course, is we lose a little bit of the technique in there, right? The hands might drop all the way down to the waist. We might end up down here, throwing punches from there. I don't know about all that. Never been finished though, okay? So it's working. It's working. I guess, right? The power is working. He really believes in himself. And he can be found mewing. That's when you do this. I think guys and gals do it, but guys do it a lot more. Like that. He's always doing that in his photos. He's doing it in that photo. He's always doing that, okay? He's also interested in aliens. Just to put that out there. And he is going against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, Mr. Fluffy. He's so fun. He originally had a no contest on Dana White's Contender Series, but it's a no contest for weed. That's bogus, okay? We don't recognize it. So, cancel that out. There is no one. That doesn't count because I don't really think that's a performance-enhancing drug. It's very funny. All right, funny to me. Coming off of a decision win right now to Brendan Allen. Okay, that was a pretty batty-addy performance, right? That was a rematch with 9 years in between. I think it was 9 years since they first saw each other in LFA. So that's pretty crazy. He's a subber. That's the thing about Fluffy. That is the thing, is he is a subber. So 56% of his wins, just one loss. And I think a big one, right, that really gets people is that he subbed Rodolfo Vieira. Uh-oh, right? That's scary. That's some scary stuff. So he is a subber, right? When you get Rodolfo, that's crazy stuff. He has also had a lot of crazy comeback moments. He set a record in the destruction that he caused Michelle Pereira, like in terms of significant strike damage. Like, oh my god. So he's a powerful guy. He's an outdoorsman as well. But defining quality is his stickiness. Anthony is very, very sticky. Anthony is sticky. Anthony is technical. Fluffy is refined when he's in there in the cage. And Roman Dolidze is, like that. But so far, though, the power has been powering with Roman. It's been working out, right? I mean, we didn't knock out Marvin Vettori, but got the win on him. And had the cardio to stay there, so that was something. But this is, I think many people are saying, a bit of a different situation. I think the danger that Anthony is offering may be something that Roman has yet to encounter. And this is a really big moment for Fluffy. He can really push himself into a challenge for the top 5 and potentially even the top 3, right, if this goes really swimmingly, okay? If he swims all over Roman and gets him to tap out. This is going to be a very, very exciting one for sure. Obviously, it will be chaotic because it's Roman Dolidze, but it's going to be very fun and very quirky because it's Fluffy. Because Fluffy Hernandez has been killing it. He's been looking amazing. They both have been looking amazing in their own ways, and they're very different. I really am excited about this fight because they have very, very different fighting styles. Very, very different. So, middleweight madness is kicking up again, and here we are. Let me know how you think any of these fights are going to go, any fun things about the fighters that I didn't share. Okay, here's our song of the week to get jamming, get ready. That is all I had, I think. Okay, let me know if you are also most looking forward to C-Rod versus Touchy Feely. Come on. And Angela Hill, of course. Yeah, those are my top three. Feely, C-Rod, Lucindo, Hill, and our main event, Fluffy versus Mr. Mew. That's cute. So, all right. That's it. Peace out. And everybody wish Jimmy a happy birthday. She turns 10 today.